Right, well, good evening, everyone. It's 4 o'clock here in the UK, so we will make a start. Thank you for joining us this evening for Abertay University's pre-departure briefing for January intake 2026. My name's Jenny Hyde. I'm Deputy Head of International Recruitment here at Abertay University. I'm also joined by my colleague Claire, who works in the international recruitment team, and Muriel, who works in the student inquiry zone. And you're bound to meet us all when you arrive in Abertay in January. So today we're going to start with a quiz. Oh, actually, I should do some housekeeping first, shouldn't I? So if you could all make sure that your microphones are on mute, and we are recording this session. So if you want a recording to be sent to you, we will do that afterwards if you have registered to attend and we have your contact details. There is a Q&A at the end, but you're very welcome to post your Q&A, your questions in the chat, and we will address them as we go along, or at the end. So pop any questions you might have in the chat or in the question and answer slot. And yes, we will be sharing this afterwards. So I hope you can all see my slides. It should tell you that we are going to start off with a quiz. So these are all questions around Scotland and Abertay, and you're very welcome to put your answers in the chat. I think we have the first question. What is the national animal of Scotland? Is it A, a lion, B, an eagle, C, a haggis, or D, a unicorn? And I'll give you 10 seconds to put that in the chat. So I'm hoping to see lots of answers in the chat. Anything coming in? Yes. Got one. And it is a unicorn. And that is even on the UK passport. So Scotland is famous for having unicorns back in the day, along with the wild haggises that run around the mountains. You may be lucky and you may see one when you come here. Question 2, for those sport aficionados, which sport was invented in Scotland? Is it A, golf, B, tennis, C, basketball, or D, ice hockey? And we have some answers coming in. You are absolutely right. The sport of golf was invented in Scotland. In fact, it was invented in St Andrews, which is home to the Royal Golf Club, very famous for its golf. And St Andrews is only 15 minutes drive from Dundee, so it's somewhere that you should definitely be able to go and visit whilst you're studying with us. Question 3, which degree was Abertay the first university in the world to offer? Is it A, architecture, B, aerospace, C, video games, or D, medicine? Have we got any answers? We have one. And it is absolutely right. Dundee, Abertay was the first university in the world to offer a degree in video games. And we are home to the world famous video game franchise Grand Theft Auto, and also Minecraft. So it's something that we're very famous for, and we're actually ranked in the top 10 in the world for our video games and computer games design courses. Finally, we're going to move on to the serious stuff. So today's agenda, we're going to be talking about the important dates as we approach January intake. We're going to talk you through applying for your visa, traveling from Dundee. So I think we have some people joining us from Nigeria, from Ghana, from Kenya, from Zimbabwe, and also from other parts of North Africa, Morocco, in the Gulf, and Tanzania, Sierra Leone, and Rwanda. So I'm hoping you will all be able to join us. So we'll be looking at how you will travel to Dundee from those countries. We'll be looking at accommodation, where we are and how easy it is to get around. Importantly, what to bring and what not to bring. So you will be arriving in the middle of winter. So things that you will need when you arrive, we'll be covering that. Accommodation and how to access your accommodation. Really importantly, registration, what to prepare, how you can pre-register, paying the balance of your tuition fees. Then the most important thing about coming here is the studies. So getting set up, getting your timetable, getting access to your email address and to your IT account. And then important considerations before you arrive. And finally, the pre-arrival guide. So I'll be posting that in the links. So term will actually start, teaching will start on Monday, the 19th of January. So under the terms of your visa, your student visa, if you're not currently in the UK on a dependence visa or right to remain visa, you will need a student visa. You can come up to 4 weeks before the course starts. So that means you can arrive once you've got your visa anytime from the 19th of December all the way through. So you can arrive early, enjoy Christmas in Scotland, and move into your accommodation 4 weeks before you arrive. And then we have registration events taking place on campus from the 12th of January. So we really would recommend that you get here early so you can familiarize yourself with the city, with everything you need to know, where the supermarkets are, how to get around, how to get from your accommodation to your studying, to campus where you'll be teaching. So we need to encourage you to be on campus around the 12th of January, and then there'll be a whole week of induction events. And that will include an international welcome event on Friday, the 16th of January from 10 till 3. And that's hosted by Muriel's team, the student inquiry zone. We will be hosting, my team, the international recruitment team, will be hosting an international social on Wednesday, the 14th of January. And that's just a really nice chance for you to get to know other international students who are always also joining us, some of our current students and also staff. And then, like I mentioned, course teaching actually starts on the 19th of January. Now, we do understand that over the Christmas period, visa offices can be closed, and that can cause a knock-on effect in you getting your visa in time. So the absolute deadline we have to start is the 2nd of January. We really do encourage you to arrive as early as possible, because if you arrive after teaching starts, you will miss assignments that are set, and you will be at a disadvantage against other students because you'll be playing catch up. And playing catch up, you know, when you are in an international environment, an unfamiliar environment, that makes it even more challenging. So do try and arrive early so you can get registered, get your timetables, get your student ID card, everything set up so you're all ready for your classes to start. So at this stage, our course, our application deadline was Monday, the 1st of December. So everyone on this call should have their offer and should now be in the process of completing their CAS Shield, because to get your student visa, you will need a confirmation of acceptance to study. This is what is needed by the visa office before you apply for your visa. And you get your CAS by accessing the CAS Shield profile, which is on Enrollee, and we sent that to you in your offer letter there was a sign-in link that you would have received within your offer letter or by email. So on the CAS Shield profile, there are a number of stages you have to complete. There's personal information. You need to upload a copy of your passport, your academic transcripts, financial documents. Sometimes we will ask for, we will ask you to complete a credibility interview. If you've ever applied for a university or a student visa and had a visa refusal, that will mean that we will ask for details of that visa refusal, whether that's one coming to the UK or to study elsewhere in the world. We do need that information. Some things I have noticed with CAS Shield, there has been slight delays between when the deposit is paid and when the CAS is issued, because we have to do so many checks in between. So if you have not uploaded your English verification code, for example, so we need to verify the WASI or the WIEC English, we may need to double check or verify transcripts. So if you have paid your deposit but are still waiting for your CAS, please do make sure that you've checked the messages on your CAS Shield so we can expedite your CAS and get it across to you as soon as possible. Once you've completed your CAS Shield and paid your 50% deposit, that is when we can offer you we could award your CAS number, and that is when you apply for your visa. So you need then to have all your documents in place for your visa application. Please be aware that the deadline to complete your CAS profile is the 16th of December. You must have completed it by then, so we can then process your CAS. We can complete the final checks, get your CAS out to you so you can apply for your visa before the visa offices break up for Christmas in your country. So when it comes to your visa, what you will need to consolidate before you apply, you will need a current valid passport. You will need your CAS number, which we will send you. You will need to upload evidence of your proof of funds. So that's your bank statement showing the amount that you have in the account is the balance of your tuition fees plus evidence that you can support yourself whilst you're studying. And finally, most students from sub-Saharan Africa are required to submit a TB certificate. So you will need to organise that as well. Please note, during a visa application, you do need to submit all original documents, not copies. The visa office are really, really strict on this. And if they have any inclination that your documents are not original, that will incur a visa refusal. And that is something that we really, really need to avoid. So in terms of the living costs that you're required to have in your account, these increased as of the 11th of November. So if you are applying for your student visa now, and this is the student route visa, you will need to show that you have £10,539 in your bank account, plus the balance of your tuition fees. And you need to keep that intact until your visa is granted. Don't start withdrawing money from the account because you received a CAS. The visa office will check. So they're very well known for doing those double checks, contacting the bank that your bank statements are from, and verifying that you still have the amount required to cover the costs. It's really important also to make sure that the your bank statement is from a bank which is contactable. I have known of students having their visa refused because the visa officers tried to contact the bank that the bank statements are from, and they could get no response. And that's a really unfortunate reason to get your visa refused. So please do avoid that. So when it comes to the proof of funds to be maintained, I'm using a ballpark course which costs £17,000. So let's say we've got MSc Biomedical Science or MSc Food Safety and Innovation, which are courses that cost £17,000. Now, that means your deposit should be £8,500, which is 50%. Now, if you have received if you've received a scholarship, which would be either £3,000 or £5,000, then you can deduct that scholarship from your tuition fees and it's 50%. So it would be 7,000 or 6,000. So if you knock £1,500 off that tuition fee deposit, if you've got £3,000 scholarship, that's Abertay International Scholarship, that will reduce your deposit to 7,000. If you are a high achieving student who has been awarded the Principal's Excellence Scholarship, that will reduce your tuition fees by £5,000. So we deduct 2.5 from the deposit, leaving you a balance of £6,000 to pay. That means you have a balance to pay in addition to your living costs. So let's say you've been awarded the £3,000 scholarship. The amount that you need in your bank statement will be £17,539. Or if you've got the Excellence Scholarship, it will be £16,539. That money has to be in your bank account or the bank account belonging to your parent or legal guardian for a minimum of 28 days before you apply for your visa. So our admissions team will check that before they can issue your CAS. I really want to stress at this point, when we see visa refusals for financial reasons, it's because the student has submitted a bank account that is not intact. So the money has not been in that account for 28 consecutive days. It might be, you need to bear in mind that they will consider the first and the final day as not full days on the bank statement. So by that, let's use November as an example. If you were to submit a bank statement that showed you had the necessary funds from the 1st to the 28th of November, your visa would be refused because you don't have sufficient funds for the 28 days. Now you would need to submit a bank statement with the funds in from the 1st to the 30th of November because they take into account the first day and the last day. So that's really important for you to bear in mind. When we look at the bank statements, it's also really important to explain that these need to be in a current or a personal account. The UKVI will refuse a visa based on finance if the bank statement is from a business or corporate or account of that nature. So please do bear that in mind when you're looking at what bank statements are acceptable. So I mentioned the scholarships. Abertay has a number of partial scholarships. So the standard one is the Abertay International Award, which is a £3,000 fee reduction. If you are a very high achieving student, you will have been awarded the £5,000 scholarship. So that is the Principal's Excellence Award, and that is deducted from your overall tuition fee. Now, the scholarships are awarded very much on merit. We check all applications, and these are assessed by a panel who will award the scholarship, and you will get a follow-up letter that explains whether you've been awarded, or it will explain that you've been awarded an extra £2,000 on top of the £3,000 Abertay International Award. So at this stage, you should be in the process of your CAS shield, and then so you can then get your CAS with which you can apply for your student visa. If you haven't applied yet, there are some very useful websites. So we look at UK Kaiser. That's got loads and loads of information for international students who are applying for scholarships, for a visa to study in the UK. We do work with a number of accredited agents across sub-Saharan Africa and the Middle East and North Africa. Our agents are very happy to help with your visa application. You're welcome to contact us directly, and we can refer you to somebody in your country who can help you. So once you've got your CAS and you have accepted our offer to study, we will send you an email with instructions on how to activate your IT account. So do look out for it. The email is called Abertay University IT Account and Instructions. It will come through to your email address, and it's really important that you look out for this in advance. It will save you so much time when you arrive. Now, you won't be able to get your student ID card or register for your course until you've activated your IT account. So that is what triggers your Abertay student email address. It will enable you to access your timetable and all of the learning platforms that you will need for part of your course. Now, if you have accepted your offer and you've activated your IT account, but then you decide for whatever reason that you can't join us in January, your IT account will be disabled. So just bear that in mind. When it comes to accommodation, I really do stress how important it is that you have accommodation organised before you arrive in Dundee. You are arriving in January, which is possibly our coldest month, and it is winter. So it's shortened daylight hours. It's really important you arrive and you have somewhere lined up to live. Don't just arrive and think that you can stay in a hotel to start with, because you will find that prohibitively expensive. There are lots of student letting agents and accommodation in Dundee. The city itself, we have about 140,000 people, and because we not only have the university, Abertay University, but also the University of Dundee and St Andrews University, there's a really big cohort of students living in Dundee. So there's lots and lots of student accommodation. Now, what you will need to bear in mind, though, if you're not in university halls of residence, you will need to rent privately. So there are lots of student letting agents and places to stay, but it will be up to you to contact them directly. You may find if you are choosing to rent privately, you will need a guarantor, somebody who will be able to guarantee your rental contract. Please do review the contract before you sign it, because it is binding. You know, if you get to your accommodation and you find you don't like it, then you're going to need to find somebody to take over that contract for you. So this is where you can talk to the student inquiry zone about advice on accommodation and contracts, or even the students' union would be able to help you with this. So definitely try and get accommodation in the city itself. I do hear of students occasionally who have family further afield in Glasgow, in Edinburgh, even in Aberdeen. Bear in mind that these are quite a long way. So you're going to be spending at least an hour, if not 90 minutes, just one way traveling to and from those cities to Dundee. And that's an hour time out of your day when you could be studying, but it's also time away from having the opportunity to work on a part-time basis, for example. It is also costly. You know, public transport isn't cheap. So factor that in if you're thinking of moving further afield outside of the city of Dundee. Now, when you arrive in Dundee, the first thing you will need to do is collect the keys to your accommodation. So depending on where you're staying, there may be different key pickup protocols in place. Please, therefore, look at your emails and make sure you know exactly where to go to pick up the keys to your accommodation. When it comes to traveling, now, you'll be coming most likely either through London Heathrow or via Edinburgh. It's recommended. I mean, if you're traveling from Nigeria, for example, you can fly from Lagos or Abuja to Heathrow, and then it's a 1-hour flight from Heathrow to Edinburgh Airport. This is probably the easiest airport for you to get to and from Dundee from. excuse me. So Edinburgh Airport, there is a direct bus, the X90 bus, which takes you right to Dundee city centre, to the railway station. It costs about £19 if you book it in advance. By advance, I think that's 10 days before you're due to travel. If you wait until the day of travel, it will be about £25. There's also the Ember bus, which goes from Edinburgh Airport tram stop, and that's a little bit cheaper. Or you can take the train to Edinburgh Gateway and then on to Dundee. The train station is literally 10 minutes from campus. Likewise, the buses, they stop outside the train station. So really, really easy. I really wouldn't recommend you take a taxi unless you're coming with a group and you can share the costs, because it's expensive. You're looking at minimum £80, possibly more, depending on what time you arrive. So do bear that in mind when you're traveling from Edinburgh Airport to Dundee. The other option, you may have the opportunity to fly into Glasgow International. Again, very easy. It's about an hour and 10 minutes from Glasgow International Airport to Dundee. Again, you can get the airport bus or the train or the taxi, but taxis are significantly more expensive. So do bear that in mind. Finally, we do actually have an airport in Dundee, and that really is the easiest. If you're flying from Heathrow, London Heathrow, you can fly with Loganair directly to Dundee. Now, there's no public transport going from Dundee Airport to the city. You would need to get a taxi, but that's a lot cheaper than taxis from Edinburgh or Glasgow. So you can have a look at, if you're flying into Heathrow, you can have a look at flying then Loganair on to Dundee itself. The other options are obviously you get KLM, you get Air France, or Qatar Airways, which go directly to Edinburgh, but via either Paris, Amsterdam, or Doha. Getting to know Dundee itself, it's, like I said, it's a relatively small city. It's a great location, right by the River Tay. So Aber means mouth of, and because it's the River Tay, it's mouth of the River Tay. To the east, we have the beaches of Broughty Ferry, and along the east coast of Scotland. So it's very easy to get around. There's, like I say, about 40,000 students, but about 140,000 residents of Dundee. It's eminently walkable. You can get around very easily on foot. We don't actually have Uber yet in Dundee. We have taxis, but we don't use Uber because it's so walkable, because it's so easy to get around. And, you know, if you download Google Maps, you will be able to, it will help you familiarize yourself with the city and getting around and where you need to be and where you need to get to from your accommodation. So everything, like I say, everything is easy. Dundee railway station, well, I can do it in 10 minutes. It says here 12, but you can do it in 10 minutes very easily. The bus station is about 8 minutes from campus. There are plenty of churches, mosques, temples very close by. Abertay University campus is on Bell Street, and we have a police station at one end. There are a number of supermarkets around the city, so you can easily find a Lidl or Tesco or Asda, Waitrose, lots of supermarkets, very close, very easy to get around. And the park, Dudhope Park, is nearby as well. So if you want to just go and enjoy some of the outside fresh air, it's a really nice park to wander around. Right, so one of the things we've noticed in recent times with our students joining us is that they don't always understand the accent in Dundee. So it's a really good idea to familiarize yourself with the Dundonian accent. It's not a hugely strong accent, but there's things like we'll ask for, we've had situations where we've asked a student for their password, or a passport, and they think that we're asking them to give them a password. So, it's easy to get confused. So if you can brush up on the Dundonian accent, the Scottish accent before you arrive, even if you've got really, really good English, and I know a lot of the people on the call will have been speaking English all their lives. You might, however, encounter some challenges with the day-to-day conversational English when you arrive in Scotland. So, have a look. The BBC have got some really good English language resources to help expand your vocabulary beyond your academic English. And there's the 6-minute BBC English, which you can download, and you can get a feel for the accent before you arrive. So before you arrive as well, I mean, one of the key things is to get a UK SIM card once you arrive in the UK. So you'll need that to access your Abertay account once you arrive on campus. So the sort of, you can get an eSIM, either the main networks are O2, EE, Vodafone, 3Mobile, or giffgaff. Other useful apps that you can consider would be the Trainline or ScotRail if you're looking to travel around by train. The X90 bus, which goes from Edinburgh Airport to Dundee, is the Explore bus. So have a look at that. You can download that app. But there's also Stagecoach and Megabus, which get around. Unidays, Totem, and Student Beans are some popular student discount apps that would be useful for you to familiarize yourself with. Taxis in Dundee, we have city cabs and tele-taxis, and you can always get food or shopping delivered to your accommodation either through Uber Eats, Just Eat, or Deliveroo, and they'll be able to organize, or you can order food to eat, or you can order groceries to be delivered through those apps. So I mentioned the UK SIM card. I would say that's probably one of the most important things you need to get set up when you come to the UK. So the UK SIM will give you a +44 UK number, and once you arrive on campus, you can start looking at setting up a bank account and getting your bank card. Now, you will need that UK phone number to access your Abertay online resources. It's really easy to do. You just go into a mobile phone store. There's lots in Dundee. You could possibly even do this at the airport when you arrive and purchase a SIM-only deal or a pay-as-you-go deal with Vodafone, EE, or 3Mobile. All of those have got actual physical stores that are very easy to get to from the campus. You will need the bank account set up so you can organise your payment plan for the balance of your tuition fees. So there are a number of really good online banks. Monzo and Starling are really easy to set up, and they have very minimal fees for international transfers. So a lot of our international students really appreciate those ones and can set them up quite easily. Before you arrive, we will email you with an invitation for you to start your online registration. So that will open as of the 5th of January. It's a 2-stage process. It will start with your online process. So that will give us the information that we need to register you and confirm agreement to your contract to study. So it also will enable you to register for the elective modules on your course, and from that we are able to pull together your timetable. So this is why it's really important to get this done earlier, as before you arrive ideally, because if you wait and teaching has started, that will only delay getting your timetable and will result in you missing even more class if you're not arriving in time for teaching. So we'll contact you, the academic services team will contact you with instructions on how to set up the registration. And finally, that's when you can also set up your tuition fee payment arrangements to complete the online section of the registration. So you'll have paid 50% deposit and you will have a 50% balance of your tuition fees. Now, the standard payment plan is bi-monthly. So your first instalment will be due on the 1st of March, 1st of May, 1st of July. However, if you need to talk to us about doing a fourth instalment, we can accommodate that, but we need to know before you've defaulted on any payments. So please do make sure that you contact us if there are any difficulties in making the instalment payments. Oh, I've just told you all this without even seeing it. So the balance of your tuition fees can either be can be done through Flywire or through your UK bank account. Flywire is really good because it's trackable and it's pretty straightforward. It's a very safe way to pay large amounts. Please, please, please don't bring huge amounts of cash when you arrive. You cannot pay your tuition fees in cash. You can't pay your accommodation in cash. And entering the UK with a large amount of cash will only raise suspicions and it may get confiscated because it's all to do with declaring money for legal purposes. So the final step, you've completed your online registration, you've got your timetable, you've got your student email address and your IT account is all set up. The final step is to complete the in-person registration. And that's when we can give you your physical student ID card. You will need to have already set up your IT account to do this and to complete the registration. So we need you to bring your passport, proof of your student visa or your permission to be in the UK. So that might be if you're studying if you're in the UK joining or on a dependence visa, or if you have indefinite leave to remain, then you will need to bring that as proof, as well as for any printed qualifications. So your degree certificate, transcripts, and WIAC or evidence of English. Registration will be held in January, from the 12th of January to the 19th, and it's held in sessions in our library. So we'll contact you directly with more information about registration when it gets nearer the time. So all of this will lead you to be enrolled as a student, and you will then have access to my Abertay. So this offers you everything you need for your studies and your education experience at Abertay in one place. So this is where you will find your assignment deadlines, student email account, your student check-in, the digital register, any links to key resources that you need. So if you need a particular textbook from the library, this is where you go to reserve that or to check availability. It's only available to students that are currently enrolled and registered on a bachelor's or a master's degree. You'll be able to download this to your phone from the App Store or Google Play, and it will be, you can access it on your phone or on your laptop as well. From here, you can access your timetable. So this is where you review where you've got to be and when. This is what it will look like, but obviously it will be populated with the course, the modules that you're doing that are specific to your course. Within my Abertay, you will also find My Learning Space, which is where you can access all your course content, your lecture materials, tutorials, and your assignment briefs. You click on this tile. Now this throws some people because it doesn't look like a hyperlink, but once you've got My Abertay and My Learning, you will see this My Learning Space icon, and it is a link which will take you to this page at the bottom. And that's where you can click on each of your modules for the program. You can look at the module content. Now, something that's really important and has been an issue in September is that students who haven't registered in time, who haven't followed the instructions in the emails that they've received, are not able to access my Abertay and my learning space. So they're showing as not engaging with their class content. Now, this brings me to the rules and regulations around your visa. So as one of the commitments of your student route visa is that you attend class. And we monitored class attendance not only through the JISC mail, your student ID card, which you use to access your classes, but also your engagement in the My Learning space. So if you haven't completed the online registration and your IT setup, you won't have access to this. So if you've arrived late, it will show that you're not engaging and you could be cautioned for lack of attendance. So please do bear that in mind. This is why I'm so happy to see so many of you here on this call, so you're prepared for what is involved. Student attendance. So yes, like I said, you have to register your attendance when you're in class as part of your studies. So that's done by the student attendance tile, which is found here. You click on your student attendance tile, you will be given a code by your lecturer, which you then need to put into the page. So if you don't register your attendance for 3 days, that raises alarm bells with us. So at that point, I mean, one of the things that's really good about Abertay is that we have small class sizes. Your tutor, your academic staff know who you are. At Abertay, you are a name rather than just a number. They're not huge classes. So if you're not attending, it is very noticeable. And we'll reach out to you in the first instance to make sure you're okay. I mean, you're not sick or there's no problems. But, you know, this is, if you don't engage with the My Learning space, then it does raise red flags. And if we don't hear from you in 3 days, then we need to engage, and beyond that, we are obliged to report you to the UKVI as a non-attendee, and that's a nightmare. We don't want to do that, because if you don't attend, your visa is at risk. So please do make sure that you engage with My Learning space. You ensure that you register your attendance in class so we don't get to that point. So at the start, we talked about the Welcome Week. So as I mentioned, that runs from Monday the 12th to Friday the 16th of January. So what to expect from Welcome Week? Well, it's a course induction. So you will have talks from your faculty, the dean of your faculty, and different departments. The department in which your course sits, there will be welcome talks. You'll get to meet academic and support staff. There'll be lots of information and activities and advice throughout the week, but there's no teaching. So it's a really good week for you to kind of arrive and get a feel for your bearings. It's important, as part of your student route visa, you are eligible, you'll pay the NHS surcharge, which gives you access to a GP, a dentist. If you need to be hospitalized, unfortunately, I hope you don't, but if it happens, so you need to register with a doctor so you can take advantage of the medical support that the UK can offer. Now, Abertay International Welcome, the date isn't confirmed. The date is confirmed. I'm sorry, the slide hasn't been updated, but it's Wednesday, the 14th of January. So that will have a lot of information about starting as an international student, what to expect, how to do well. So I mentioned about the doctor. All students should register with a local GP, and we can certainly direct you to where the local GPs are in Dundee. There's no charge to register. You will not be charged if you need a GP's appointment, or if you need medication, if you need so you will go to the doctor, the general practitioner, and if you need medication, they will give you a prescription. You don't have to pay for your medication if you get the prescription, and you can find a list of local GPs on the NHS Scotland website, but Hawkhill Medical Centre and Hillbank are the two that are most local. So we actually have a pre-arrival guide which has a dedicated section on the website which covers everything that you'll need to know. So how to get to Dundee, everything we've spoken about really, what to bring with you, what to do when you arrive, how to set up your bank account, register for a GP, where to do your shopping. So there are, in the UK, you'll find there are student budget-friendly supermarkets, and then there are less friendly supermarkets, which are rather more expensive. So, you know, you don't have to go to the expensive places to do your grocery shopping. The guide will also tell you who to contact for help and lots more information. So that, I think that's everything from me. So I'm going to stop sharing my slides now and open it up to questions. And meanwhile, I am going to pop some useful links into the chat, which you can refer to. So when I mentioned about the Scottish accent, one thing that I found useful, you might be able to tell that I'm not from Scotland, and it's taken me a little while to get used to the accent too, but one of the things is watching TV, one of my favourite pastimes, and there's no end of very good quality Scottish drama. So I'm popping that link in there so you can have a look at the 20 greatest TV shows of all time from Scotland, ranked in order. So that will definitely help getting used to the Scottish accent. Also, you can download the BBC Sounds and listen to BBC Scotland, which is also a really good way to familiarise yourself with the accent. Coming to Dundee, it will be a culture shock. It will be cold. So the way I overcome that is through layering. So if you have long sleeve t-shirts, socks, that sort of thing, try and travel with that. You will most likely be able to buy a heavy coat, walking boots more cheaply in the UK than you will at home, but just wrap up warm for when you arrive. Now, at this point, I often get asked about working, and you are allowed to work as an international student on a student visa. You're permitted to work for up to 20 hours per week on a part-time basis. That cap is lifted during your vacation time. So with you starting in January, you will find there'll be a couple of weeks vacation in over Easter, over that period, and then a short period over the summer. January intake will run for 16 months in total because you're also working over the summer vacation. But that's a really useful UK Kaiser link about how you're permitted to work. And I think one of the really good things about Abertay and the fact that we have a lot of support is that we have a really good careers office who will help you in finding a part-time job, but also they will be able to help you with your CV and preparing for interviews, because after you've graduated, you will be allowed to stay in the UK and work for up to 18 months in the UK. So you can work full-time on a graduate route visa, and our student inquiry zone will help you in securing your graduate route visa, and our careers advisory service will help you on preparing to get a really good job. So do try and engage with the careers service. They will be there during registration week. So do make the most of that, because it's a service that once you've graduated, you know, you can't go back to so easily. So, you know, they'll help you with interview preparation. They'll help you with your CV. If you have any skills gaps for the particular job that you're interested in. So they're a really good help for you to engage with. So I've got some more links. So if you have not yet applied for your visa, we've got some information around applying for your visa here. The Overseas Pre-Arrival Guide. This is a really useful document I've referred to. So have a look at that. So that will give you all of the information that you need about getting started, about money and bank accounts and living in Dundee. So, I mean, obviously we think Dundee is the best city in Scotland, but it certainly has the best location, because you're right by the River Tay, you're right by the sea, but the mountains are not far away. So Dundee's a great location in Scotland. It's about 1 hour north of Edinburgh, very easy to get to Edinburgh. Likewise, getting to Glasgow or other parts of Scotland, it's a 1 hour flight from London or other parts of Europe, and you can obviously travel to other parts of Europe on a Schengen visa. So I mentioned about actually getting to Dundee. So that will tend to be on by bus if you're coming from Edinburgh Airport, but you can go to the How to Find Us guide to see exactly how to get around. It's a very affordable city, actually. It's one of the most affordable cities in the UK. There's a really good restaurant culture. There's a fantastic restaurant that I love going to called Giddy Grill, which has got, you can get your jollof rice cooked for you there, but there are also lots of African and Asian supermarkets around the city. It's a really culturally diverse city. Something that I've been getting used to is the Scottish cuisine. So something that kind of, it's not all about haggis. You will try haggis when you get here, but we have macaroni pies, which are very nice. They're macaroni cheese in pastry, but also have a look out for a bridie, which is kind of a meat pasty, which comes from not far from Dundee. There's a question here about whether there's an orientation week program. Yes, well, that is the International Week, Red Welcome Week. So that will be running from the 12th to the 19th, or sorry, that will be running from the 12th to the 16th of January. So that will be the orientation week, which is where you get all of your induction, and you get to meet your academic staff who will be teaching you, and other parts of the university, the other key people in the university you'll be engaging with. Going back to tell you about the accent, we actually have Abertay TV, which is also a really good resource. So you can find the details of that in the Overseas Student Pre-Arrival Guide. But the link to Abertay TV is here on YouTube. And so I haven't put my email address down, so I will pop my email into the chat. And you're very welcome to contact me by email with any questions. Oh, okay. Coming in September. Oh, applied for a Chevening Scholarship. That's right. So if you have applied for a Chevening Scholarship, these are still being assessed and shortlisted, and the deadline for Chevening Scholarship assessments will be the 2nd of January. After they've been shortlisted, then if successful, people will be invited for interview, and that will take place between February and April. Once they've completed the interviews, goes to panel, and normally Chevening will start contacting successful candidates in late June, early July. So what that means, if you've applied for Achieving Scholarship, you won't know whether you've been successful until next summer. What I would suggest is that you consider paying the deposit in the event that you're not successful in getting awarded the scholarship. That deposit will be refunded if you're not awarded, or if you don't have the financial wherewithal to attend without a full scholarship. The reason for that is because we do have dates and deadlines which we have to adhere to. So, for example, the deadline for January is fast approaching. We need people, applicants who are doing their CAS Shield, to complete the CAS Shield by the 16th of December. And that is an opportune moment for me to pop the dates and deadlines link in. So that this has got the key deadlines, but please do, if you're going for Achieving Scholarship, I mean, you're welcome to contact me directly with further details, because this is a January pre-departure briefing. But yeah, bear in mind that you are leaving it late not to have paid your deposit. Also, I mean, we have a 3% early bird discount if you pay your deposit by the 1st of June, which will obviously be before Achieving have confirmed your scholarship. Further questions? Okay, so I'm very happy to put the link to our agents in the chat as well. So depending on where you are dialing in from, we work with a number of agents. Which are located all over sub-Saharan Africa. Now, working with an agent, we have committed as a university to the agent quality framework. So the agent quality framework, we make sure that there is a national code. We adhere to a national code of ethics. All of our agents that we work with have to complete it, have to have also commit to that. So I know if you're from Algeria, we work with AHZ Associates, who have got an office in Algeria, and I believe TCL Global also has an office. So if you'd like to contact me directly, I'm very happy to connect you with agents in those offices. Yep, the presentation will be shared. I also have the recording of this, so I'm very happy to share that recording once we've completed this evening's session. So do we have any further questions that I've missed? Right. Oh, I really like seeing how people from the same countries are getting in touch with each other before they arrive. I think that's so nice, because you can get in touch and coordinate travel, and it's a shared experience, which is a great thing to see. But I realize that it is now 5 o'clock, so are there any further questions? Yes, please do contact me directly. And I am very happy to connect you with an agent in Algeria or Nigeria. Okay. Right. Any recommendations for winter clothing? Well, depending on where you are coming from in the world, I would definitely recommend socks. If you can get some warm socks before you arrive, your feet will thank you for it. I mean, once you actually get here, that's when I would suggest you buy your warm clothing. It will be a lot cheaper when you get here, but just make sure when you first arrive, you've got something. Also, a beanie hat. A beanie hat will be your friend. It'll cover your ears, keep your ears warm, because I don't know about you, but when my ears get cold, I feel cold all over. So yeah, that's what I would suggest. Bring long sleeve t-shirts, thick socks. You will feel the cold. It's a very different environment than what you're used to. Yeah, Claire has already mentioned Primark, or they call it Primani because it's so good quality, fashionable stuff and very, very reasonable. So you don't have to spend a huge amount of money on warm clothes. You can get it a lot cheaper here than you probably would at home. Okay, so regarding September and chevening, in terms of deposit, the September deposit deadline will be, let me just check. No, hang on. I'm just finding that. I don't think we've confirmed the deadlines for September yet. However, I would suggest bearing in mind that the early bird deadline for the deposit is the 1st of June. With the early bird discount, you will get 3% discount off of your deposit. So deadlines for you completing your CAS shield and paying the deposit after that date will be coming in due course after we've completed January intake. But do watch this space, watch the dates and deadlines link that I posted because we will update that. Oh crikey, if you're used to summer from if you're from Mozambique, I was there in September and yes, it's slightly different climate, but you'll get used to that. Is there an option to defer if you cannot meet all the financial requirements now? Absolutely. What I would say is that if you cannot get the finances together for January intake, please let us know as soon as possible. We can defer your place to September. So that's something that can be done. But if you don't tell us that you want to defer, your application will be closed. If you don't respond, if you don't confirm your offer, and we won't know to defer you and keep your offer open for September. So just keep in touch, just let us know. You can drop me an email and confirm that you want to defer. Oh yes, send your deferral request directly to our admissions team. I think we've covered most of the questions now, haven't we? Okay, well, I hope that's been a useful session for you. As soon as we've completed, I should get the recording downloaded and I will be able to send it across. Now, that is providing I've got everyone's email address. So if you want to leave your email address, then that would help with sharing the presentation with you, because I believe this has been set up as a meeting rather than a webinar. But okay, that's great. Okay, so if you have any questions, I'm very happy to take those by email, and I will be in touch tomorrow with the recording and slides to share with you. And above all, those of you that are joining us in January, I'm really, really looking forward to seeing you. And if you're looking at joining us in September or waiting on Chevening for confirmation of scholarships, that's fine as well. Just keep in touch. Just stay in contact with us. Okay, so thank you very much for your time, and I hope it's been a useful session. Thank you. Bye-bye.